That gauntlet was fired. Don't hate on my gauntlet, man.
Computer tomorrow.
Nothing but a 42-year-old kid. That's all that is. It just happens to be married and it has kids. And a wife who indulges my 42 or 17-year-old behavior. That's all that is.
Hey man, kids make you feel younger.
Oh, that's a lie.
That's somewhat.
You lied. Stop lying. Don't lie to the people. There are times where they do make you feel young, especially when they're playing because they're jubilant behavior. And then there are other times where you feel really old. Really old.
They give you a good reason to act like a kid.
They do. Like when I was outside yesterday and me and my son were racing. That was fun.
You ran.
I did run. Like my 7-year-old is very fast. So he's ready. Yeah, I can run. I used to be able to run. Now I can't run. I don't run so well now.
Yeah, why are you acting like a child? Because I have kids. Why you
over dribbling basketball or something like that?
I say, why are you eating their snacks? Because I can. My kids.
Because I bought them. I bought the snacks. Yeah. So yep. Also, I keep on thinking when I'm 50, my oldest boy will be 15. Keep thinking about that. It's like, wow, is that your grandpa? Nah, that's my pops.
Grandpapa Daddy.
Hey, and this era, you definitely an old granddad. Grandparents start at like 35 now.
True. I got, like I said, I got some high school classmates that are grandparents already.
Holy rough.
Yeah. So I'm 42. Some of them are 43. Some of them might be 44. But yeah, some of them are grandparents. Some of them have kids in college already, which is a trip to me. So, and then when we link up or when we talk, they're like, "Oh man, you got started late." I'm like, "I got started when I wanted to get started."
And so 13 still ain't thought about kids.
Okay, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
When did you have your first child, Lawrence?
My first child was 34.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You still be. Go ahead.
The second one was born at 39, right when I told my wife, I said, I don't want to be 40 and have another one. She said, yeah, I don't want you to be 40. So the good Lord said at 39, like I said, we beat the deadline.
Yeah.
So I'll move forward.
Well, Lord willing, that's what I'll be. My homeboy, what was it? 2000. Yeah, I'll actually be over 40, but my homeboy, I was Joe 2 or 3. So yeah, like 38, 39.
Okay.
When he had his first one. My other homeboy, now he started young, he went to the Army, but yeah, unfortunately, one thing within our community is people, I was glad to, and some of my friends, glad we were able to change that trend, that family is like people they don't feel like they have anything to do, so they just having kids, unfortunately, or
right.
Don't seek higher education. And you look at other cultures, and even our Caucasian brethren, you'd be looking like, man, that dude's dad. You should be like, that dude, your dad is old, man, but And most times that's a 2-parent home. Those people have stuff in order.
Right.
And you bring a child in the world, don't be foolish and be like, oh yeah, women, not just Black women or any woman, most women, I just want to have a child. Why would you want to have a child by yourself? And
Right.
I remember how much my mother went through, how miserable, and just upset she seemed at times about being a single mother, because it's hard. Like
Yeah.
it's hard with 2 parents. So
Yeah.
and unfortunately, the community being stricken by all these single mothers is just like, man, if you get a chance. I mean, my goal was always get married first, then I'll think about children.
That's right.
Well, like I said, I also came from a single parent household, so I know what that's like. So now that I had kids, I really can't imagine my mom watching over my brother and I the whole time, because it was always on her. And we moved a lot. So we moved from Ohio to Oklahoma to Georgia. So she endured 3 moves, 2 kids, and my brother is still okay. I'm still all right, and I just like I said, when my 7-year-old was born, and it was just my wife Samantha and I still remember the first day when the nurse walked away and said, "Okay, y'all are ready to go." And me and her looking at the nurse like, "Hold on, can we stay here a little bit longer? I'm not sure we got this. Y'all didn't leave instructions." Yeah, I think it's the right way if you can take your time. I make jokes about being older because I'm older dad and stuff like that. But I think if you could take your time, I think you improve your child's chances coming from a 2-parent home, because it's hard out here. They really need the influence of mom and dad. Mom is here to nurture. Dad, dads have a really important role that I can't fully explain, even though I'm a dad. But it's important that I'm here. It's important that I see the things that they do. It's important that I'm there, not just for discipline, but to read to them, play with them, all that stuff. It just really builds something inside of the kids, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's biblical. I mean, man came first by God's design, and then the woman, and then he said, "Be fruitful and multiply" in Genesis. And so that just showed that, and that shows you before there was a woman, Adam named all the animals, he built everything, and then God decided he shouldn't be alone. So in other words, God was also saying, man is the foundation. You have a house, you want to build on a firm foundation,
right,
or it's going to be knocked over. So when you're outside of that foundation of a woman leading children, or not just that, I mean, I know people come from all different backgrounds and situations, but when that foundation is put in place, not saying things aren't going to go wrong, because sin is still in the world. So, but that man, what he brings, even though he isn't the nurturer, but he brings foundation, he brings balance, and he obviously brings some of those intangibles that a woman can't bring. I mean, just with his voice and his presence, a man's presence, I guess you got to know. And when a real man comes to the room, guys, real men know, like it's
right,
almost something just clicks, like. So
let me go talk to him. Let's see what he's about.
Yeah, and children pick up on that as well. So right. Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is, man. It's kind of an intangible thing. It's just the proper way it was intended to be.
Right.
Pastor Maurice building.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Well, Maurice, that's gonna be something I write down in my prayer book for you, that parenthood comes your way.
Appreciate it.
And it is a blessing. It's a blessing, and it's something that it changes your life forever. It does. It really does. It's something special in you. Someday, yeah, I put it like this: it's the hardest, greatest thing you'll ever do. That's how I can explain it best. But yeah, man. Cheers to that. And like I said, I'll definitely be praying for you and your wife.
Appreciate it. Yeah, they say raising kids and being married is the two hardest things, but the two best things.
Facts. Facts.
Your wife if you got a good wife, she gonna keep it real with you, man.
Yep. My wife
Everything's
keeps
wrong.
it real with me. She keeps it real with me for sure.
Everything is wrong with you. Gonna be spotted. Gonna be put on. She gonna speak it.
And honestly, you want that. You want somebody to tell you. You know, you don't want somebody to have you looking out here all crazy or you know, because that's part of taking care of you. So, you know, or looking after you. I mean, you look after her too. You know, it's equally yoked, being equally yoked. So yeah. Well, shoot, man. After that testimonial by brother Maurice, I feel like we need to get this thing started. Welcome to another edition of Two Piece and a Biscuit. The other half of the biscuit stepped away, but he will be back. I got my main man Maurice online. What's up, Maurice?
What's up? What's up, Lawrence?
What's up? What's up with you?
Glad to be back.
We're glad to have you back. And then we got the man, the myth, the legend, LeBron 316. What's up, Keion? How you doing?
Hey, man. Happy WrestleMania week.
I'm looking forward to it. Gonna be up way too late, but that's okay. Shoot, man, let's jump right into it. We had the college basketball national championship go down yesterday. Gonzaga and Baylor. I jumped in on about the second half, and I was keeping track of it on my phone, and the boys was getting whooped. What happened in that game? Keion, what did you see in that game? Why was Gonzaga getting dragged like that?
Physical dominance. Baylor just put the clamps on them boys, as well as the fact of they were shooting very well. It was kind of like a team effort altogether. But the physicality, I don't think Gonzaga's dealt with any type of physicality this whole entire tournament. Baylor was definitely that team that gave them that type of physicality. They were Baylor just was doing everything right. It was just one of those situations where, just like we looked at the Super Bowl when we said the Bucks just did no wrong, it was kind of the same way for Baylor. Baylor was just putting up right on each level and shut the Zags down when needed to in certain areas. And usually in college basketball, when you can take away two things away from a team, a win is kind of yours if you add at least two more things to your team. And physical dominance is definitely what Baylor brought. Physical dominance. That's the operative word I was going for too. The quickness, the speed of that team was mind blowing to me. I really thought it was going to be a closer matchup. Maurice, what about yourself? What was your takeaway from that game?
So yeah, Baylor won 86-70. Started out 9-0. Grabbing offensive rebounds from the get and just up in the grills of Gonzaga's players from the start, man. It was kind of everything it was kind of decided then. It was up to Baylor just to keep it going because they shot so well. But one thing, I can't find it officially, but I was told that they were scheduled to play a game earlier this season, but COVID-19 struck the Baylor team, or I think I just saw some, or maybe even some Gonzaga players, they didn't play. And so, not that it benefited Baylor more, but I think it hurt Gonzaga because they didn't get a chance to. You see that then maybe it doesn't change this outcome, but maybe you're a little more adjusted to the speed, the defense, the physicality. I mean, those guys Gonzaga was losing the ball. I mean, they look. I watched them in a few previous games, and their offense was looking crisp, but Baylor was switching on the screen and rolls. They were, man, the way they were recovering shots that Gonzaga usually had against other teams, the guy was already there. Like Kispert didn't even get as many good looks as he usually gets. Now Suggs did all right. He's a football player, so he's somewhat used to it. But I mean, Drew Timme doesn't look like he spends much time in the weight room. Yai, not him either. But Baylor was just so big. I mean, they had the one guy Vital. He like 6'5", but not that he was chiseled, but he's probably a low down there. And the other guy, number 23, his name is really, really tough to pronounce, so I'm not even gonna try it. They were just, and then just looking at the guards, Davion Mitchell, already almost built like Donovan Mitchell, or maybe a little bigger. I mean, just the defense he was able to play, and then they were just able to shoot. It's just a bad matchup, man. Like they didn't have a chance to. This was no series, so you don't get a chance to adjust, but so quickly. And the one adjustment they had was that zone defense at the end of the first half. They kind of helped them because they couldn't guard one-on-one. So, but Baylor just kept hitting enough shots to you can't stay in. Then Gonzaga doesn't play zone, so they don't have to go back. That's not their MO. So just a bad matchup, man. But
and I think there's a story that's like Baylor's basketball team like lifts weights with the football team.
Yeah, I saw that.
Does Gonzaga have a football team?
The Zags, I don't know. I'm not certain about that. Let me put it this way, I never heard of them having a football team. So so yeah. Did you guys, and both of you probably watch a little bit more college basketball than me, in this pandemic season I found a little less time to watch it, but did you see the game going like this? Did you see, because it was really, I mean, the way they got beat, it was really seemed worse watching the game. It was just, like I said, they were just really dominated on all sides of the ball. I think Maurice and Keion, both of you guys described what happened in the game really well. Did you see this happen?
I can say I didn't. I had the Zags winning just because of offensive skill set that Gonzaga has, as well as seeing them. Plus, because of the COVID season, I thought Zags were just going to kind of run away with it just because of the fact of, like, I was like, man, the number one, they're undefeated. They have I think they had like the best offensive team in the tournament, and it was just the fact of, I was like, look, nobody has that type of energy. It's a COVID season, blah, blah, blah. Basically, I looked at it the complete opposite of how I looked at the bubble for the NBA.
Yeah.
So I really thought Zags were going to run away with it. But then once I saw the referee, by the way, shout out to the refs. The refs, that was like the best like ref game I've seen in a while. There wasn't I didn't see a lot of bad calls from the referees this game as well. And so once I saw that refs were letting the guys actually kind of play, I was like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be.
Now the one bad call, I did think that Suggs charge in the opening minutes. I did think that I thought that was a block. But he reached in on the second one. He got all the dude's arm. But
overall, I thought it was a good call game.
Yeah, you don't. The officials aren't playing a role. So, and Gonzaga got more free throws because they still were going to the hole and getting. They outscored Baylor in the paint. It's just that Baylor, once they got Timme or somebody else on the island, whether it was Jared Butler or even Mitchell, or they drained threes, or they got the shot they wanted. Now, I don't think it would have been a different outcome if UCLA would have been there, but I think the way UCLA plays with Juzang and Jaime Jaquez, I'm getting his name.
You got it.
Yeah, and then
It's all right. I mess up names all the time.
Right. And then the other guy, the left-handed guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he could ball too. Like they had one-on-one moves, so and they were more athletic, so they probably would have put up a. I don't see them getting ran off like that, but I mean, because Houston wasn't. We knew they were just looking offensive rebound from what I heard about them. Their offense wasn't good. They were just more of a defensive team. That's why they got ran off the court. But
I don't know. I don't think UCLA would have fared any better. UCLA kind of went with the hot hand, and if that hand wasn't hot, then UCLA was kind of doing bad when it comes to Juzang and Jaquez. And so I wouldn't think that UCLA would have a chance because you could take one guy out and kind of beat UCLA. UCLA kind of made it this far because of what one guy was doing. I mean, shoot, was it Jaquez had 20, what was it, 105 points through the first 5 games, which is a tied for Bill Walton's record.
So you mean Juzang?
Juzang, yeah, you're right, yeah, Juzang, who tied Bill Walton's record. So it showed you, it was kind of based off of 2 guys when it comes to UCLA. I don't think that would have worked against Baylor's tough defense that they had yesterday. If they were going against that, I don't think any team would have fared against that type of defense Baylor was giving last night.
Yeah. Go ahead, Maurice.
Because I can't think of the other guy's name. He's left-handed, and then when you have offensive 1-2 punches you can maybe you get certain switches on Baylor. I think just the fact that they were able to go one-on-one, maybe they're off, maybe they hold them down, but I think they would have did a little bit better because Gonzaga's offense was so much based off of a system. Not saying that's a bad thing, but UCLA, they played some tough competition, and we saw that the Pac-12 was a lot better than what nobody was talking about the Pac-12, but they had about 4 teams get to the Elite Eight. And maybe it wouldn't have. It would have been interesting to see, but I just think with the way those guys played one-on-one, they may have been more used to that or been able to kind of counter that athleticism that Baylor came with. Because when you're nice one-on-one, the dude can be overly aggressive, but at a certain point he might foul you. Gonzaga couldn't even. They put the ball on the floor and pick it up. They were losing the ball.
They were, like I said, it just seemed like they were swarming all over. It seemed at certain points like there were 6 guys out there. The way they were just recovering, moving back and forth, like they were closing out on shots. Like I just couldn't believe. And like you said, like you already alluded to, Gonzaga had a hard time even handling the basketball at times. When they got the rebound, it was just 3-on-2 fast break. When Gonzaga was trying to push the ball up court, it seemed like all 5 guys were back at all times. It was it was crazy. But from the standpoint of Gonzaga being undefeated, that's why I was rooting for them, because I really didn't have a dog in the fight. But when you have a chance to go undefeated and be in this illustrious list with UCLA and Indiana and San Francisco and I'm missing one team, but North Carolina, and win titles. That's what I was looking for, especially when Suggs hit that shot against UCLA, the buzzer beater. I thought this is the team of destiny. And so I went storyline with it. I was like, this has got to be it. They're going to win, because I hadn't watched a second of Baylor. And, just to see Baylor's physical dominance, the speed, the strength. I mean, they were just bully balling them all over the court. The athleticism that team had as a unit, like normally you don't see a collective team, just everyone just out muscling, out hustling, out running everybody, but Baylor had it. So I was just shocked from that standpoint. But again, I mean, sheesh.
Lawrence learned that you got to start watching Mighty Ducks and thinking that thinking that hope and faith.
Well, unfortunately, I don't watch as much college basketball. I didn't watch that much college basketball this season during the pandemic. I normally focus all my energies on pro basketball and pro football and that. So I don't watch as much college basketball I used to. But yes, the Mighty Duck storyline did not work out. Thank you, thank you, Keion, for that. But my next question is: do you think Baylor returns all 5 guys, all the starters?
Nah, I feel like if college basketball gets back to normal, then next year, if you're one of the players, then you're probably like, shoot, if I don't want to deal with a Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, all these teams that weren't in it, I feel like this is kind of like the best moment just to get into this draft. One, I don't think anybody this upcoming draft class is going to be nice anyway. Like there's only like 2-3 players that I'm interested in seeing. I say if you know your draft stock has gone up because of this COVID season, you go. Especially because I feel like guys from those major schools like Duke, UNC, they'll all be back. So I say if you got the opportunity, go now, run. So I think like Mitchell will be back. Who's the guy that was most MOP? He'll probably go to the draft. I think for a lot of guys that are part of these, I don't want to call them low level schools, but I'll say least popular college basketball schools. If you know you did well during this tournament, you go try your luck in the draft.
What about you, Maurice? Are they returning any starters, or are they headed for the hills for the NBA draft?
I see them probably returning most of the guys. It'd be good if they just went on and came back and try to do it again in somewhat more of a hopefully regular college season. But Harper probably has the most upsides. Maybe I think he probably runs about maybe 6'4". I don't see many of their big guys getting a lot of hype. I think it was just really a collective effort, probably. And Davion Mitchell's probably their most NBA ready player. So I think it would be good just for a good story, or try to run it back. But I doubt they all do.
What's next for Gonzaga? Is Jalen Suggs coming out? Or are they returning all 5?
So Suggs is definitely going to the league.
He's nice with it.
I think Suggs is one of those guys that I'm kind of looking forward to getting going into the league off of this draft class. Like, I think when it comes to these type of situations for the Zags, I think majority of guys will stay. But Suggs is gone. Suggs knows he's a lottery player.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Suggs is probably out. Kispert could come back due to the COVID rule where this year is pretty much kind of counted, but you get an extra eligibility because of that rule. Maybe probably a Yaya. The thing I want to throw out there is I'm kind of wondering if Gonzaga should look at their Mark Few and his staff should look at their recruiting, the type of players they recruit, because this is what in 2017 they got beat by Carolina. Carolina was a pretty big team then. Athletic, fast guys. I know Gonzaga had Suggs this time. I know just looking back at even at that roster, I know they had Nigel Williams-Goss. Zach Collins, they had the big guy Karnofsky, and they had Rui Hachimura. But and then with the team they just had, do they need to maybe switch it up to become more, I guess, but maybe to become more a little more athletic because they get to these 2 title games and the skill gap kind of showed itself to an extent. But I don't know if they can recruit like that. But I mean, because hey, what? Yeah, Scott Drew's been at Baylor for 18 years, but I don't really want to say it's a football school, but
It's a
I guess
football
it's more
school.
football school. So
It's a
I
football
mean,
school.
the last big athlete, RG3, if I'm not mistaken, to come out of there, who had a big time college career. And then, I mean, you look at this team like y'all need to be more athletic or be quicker. I know you tried to match up with who you could during the season to prepare you for this moment, but they play in the Big 12, you play in the West Coast Conference. It's vast difference. I know some team, it might be a team or two out there that's tough, St. Mary's or something like that. I don't know if BYU's in the conference because they played a tough game with Gonzaga this year, almost beat them. But you get this far. I can see if you were within a few points, but you got dominated.
Yeah. That score is not indicative of the beating that it was, but yeah, Gonzaga definitely needs to get more athletic after this. But like I said, that's 31-1 ain't too bad. That ain't too bad. Not great because you didn't win it all, but that ain't too bad. We go ahead and roll on to the next topic. The next topic being, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Kevin Durant, Michael Rapaport little beef that we had going. I'm just going to keep it broad with the question. What are your thoughts? Because I definitely have my thoughts and opinions. What are your thoughts about this whole thing? And who do you feel is in the wrong?
Go ahead, Keion.
Well, who's in the wrong? Both. Now, Mike is a journalist, but also comedian. So, what he originally said, and for people that don't know about Kevin Durant's interview when it came to the Inside the NBA crew, of just these yes or no answers, no open answers that KD gave to Chuck. Clearly, you can see that Durant feels some type of way about Chuck or Shaq or even the whole crew. If you saw it. And of course Mike was just like, yo, if you didn't want to answer questions, don't answer, don't do the interview. Like I kind of agree with Mike on that situation. But going into the DMs and, using, this language, granted, free speech, you felt some type of way, you're angry. I get it. It kind of comes with the program. If you are a celebrity in general, people hating on you is part of the program. Now, if Mike is a real close guy with Kevin Durant, then I can kind of see it and say, yo, bro, you need to hop up off me, whatever. But, of course, the biggest thing, the biggest flaw of Kevin Durant's statements are the homophobic slurs, the threatening to spit on the dude. For me, I thought, kind of mentioning it just mean mentioning the man's wife is, disrespectful and stuff like that. Whatever the case. For Mike's part of it, like, if it's a private conversation, don't bring it out to the light. Deal with what you got to do. That's just kind of on a celebrity scale. I never liked when people brought their business out in public on social media in general. I just always thought that was tacky. So So that's what I look at in general. I like, in these type of situations, as I said, look at a guy like LeBron or Tom Brady or faces of a sport. If they reacted or messaged back or replied to anybody that had beef against them, there wouldn't be any faces in sports. I mean, it just comes with the program. Look, LeBron gets talked about what he does on the court, what he gets done off the court. And from what you've seen in the past, you've seen LeBron kind of handle it a professional way. This is a guy who's had the N word written on the gate of his house. This is a guy that has gone through controversy when it came to the China situation. What was that? Last year or 2 years ago with Daryl Morey. He tries his best to try to be professional, even if he's wrong or right about a situation. He always just tries to come at it with couth. So with that, like, as well as the fact of like, and I kind of wish Ian was here because I know he's gonna be like, there was punk moves made. I'm not gonna say by who, but I don't want to put words in Ian's mouth, but there were punk moves when it came to this. For me, Kevin Durant, if you're gonna say it in the DMs and privately, would you say it out loud publicly? That's my question. So with that, it's like, look, that's a punk move to me. And when it comes to Mike, really, you talk so hard when it comes to anybody else. Like, I seen Mike talk about Donald Trump for 4 years. If Donald Trump replied to you, are you going to also do this thing in public, like where you're writing it on privately and be like, you need to do this and do that and not talk the same exact way that you do in public against the man? Like, I thought that was a punk move. I thought it was just kind of classless on both sides.
Maurice, what were your thoughts about Michael Rapaport, Kevin Durant?
I didn't really look much into it. I saw, I guess, or heard what was said. I didn't get a chance to check out what Rapaport said when he came on Undisputed, but I don't know what triggered Durant so much, or maybe what Rapaport said, but I just feel like Kevin Durant, you got to be better than that. You got to, I mean, like Rob Parker says, dude is the most sensitive of all time. And and I'm a fan of Durant's game. I know he's changed a lot since he came into the league. He changed after that, going to Golden State, then leaving Golden State. I'm not sure what he believes, if he still has the same Christian beliefs as I have, or how is he handling it. I know it's a lot coming from that position of, I mean, you gain the whole world. I understand it's many fall astray because of the world and what it offers. It can blind you from such a temporary thing, can blind you from something that can be something that is eternal. But to say stuff like that, I mean, to get that mad is, I guess I'm not surprised, but I guess I'm kind of disappointed. I'm kind of just like, well, he's in the mindset that he's going to say what he wants to say. I don't think he made his apology, but I don't think it's in his heart. And that's the issue he'll have to address. But and Rapaport, okay, sharing the stuff, maybe that wasn't cool, but when you have status and somebody, now if I was to say something right now, okay, I can get by with it. But when you have status like Kevin Durant, you have to watch what you're saying. And you should know that by now, being over 30 years old. So it's just not good. He just needs to be quiet. Maybe he just needs to get off social media, man. I mean, take a fast from social media. at the least.
Celebrities in general sometimes need to take a fast off social media. One, you got to remember, your net worth is nothing's private anymore. You can have private conversations. It's not private anymore. Shout out to Paul Pierce. Nothing's private anymore. Like it just
It's coming up next.
Yeah, Cher put on social media. She thinks her status could have saved George Floyd. Like, relax. It just, as well as the fact, like, Kevin Durant did the number one thing that Michael Rapaport said that he was. He said Kevin Durant's sensitive. Kevin Durant proved that. Social media puts these celebrities in bad situations. I get it. That you want to talk your emotions and how you feel and stuff like that. Cool, go to therapy. You doing this stuff on social media. It granted, you're a human being. That's not how the world sees you. I'm not messing up my money. I understand, $50,000. He got fined $50,000 by the league for the homophobic slur, which means nothing to him. $50,000 doesn't mean anything to him. It means a lot to me. So with that, if I can have a million, trillion, or billion, losing $50,000 is losing $50,000 to me. So I'm not doing anything to mess up my money. And I think that's what Kevin Durant has to look at. Because at the same time, if y'all remember, he had kind of like the same thing with Stephen A. Smith. But he didn't talk to Stephen A. Smith the way he talked to Michael Rapaport. So I believe that it comes in different ways when it happens with Kevin Durant or celebrities in general. It's just like where that energy coming from, where the energy going to, for that, leave it alone. Don't mess up your money.
Let me say this so I can let Ian close it out, because he's gonna have some very strong opinionated takes. You mentioned a couple things. One was LeBron and how he handles things professionally. We know that LeBron is class personified. Whether you like him, don't, he is the class personified. We know that other players in this league or other people, they react to things differently. We know Kevin Durant is super sensitive. We all know that. So, it seems like Michael Rapaport and him had some sort of relationship, maybe not quite a friendship, but something. So I'm not excusing any of the language, but it seemed like he felt comfortable enough to talk to him in that way. And that wasn't the case. So then Michael Rapaport, to me, like a Kardashian, put the stuff up for everybody to see. I know there's no sense of privacy when you become famous. However, if I was talking to you guys, you get whatever, I wouldn't expect the conversation to get out there. Matter of fact, if you didn't like anything I had to say, I would expect you to say, call me up and say, hey, what's up? I didn't like this, whoop-de-whoop. That's what men do, right? So having said all that, I don't agree with Michael Rapaport behavior on handling of that situation. Of course, I don't agree with Kevin Durant. Again, he might need to take a fast from Twitter. He might need to just lay off Twitter and stuff like that. But I also understand that he is not the same. He cannot handle things like LeBron does. He's not capable. He's got it. His flaws, one of them is that he's super sensitive. He lets things bother him and agitate him. So I don't know. I view it more as Kevin Durant being wrong, but Michael Rapaport taking advantage of the situation, almost clout chasing to a degree. So with that, welcome back, Ian. What's up, Ian? What you got to say about that?
What's going on, good people? I know you missed me. Sorry for my tardiness. You did. The silence says enough. Yeah, Kate, I agree with all your sentiments as far as KD being sensitive, and he definitely shouldn't have clapped back in the way he did as far as the use of the language. More importantly, he shouldn't have wrote it down. don't leave the concrete evidence that can then be thrown and used against you. There's anything that Jeezy taught us is don't get caught. And KD got caught again. Whether it's burner accounts or direct messaging people that don't need to be direct messaged. Like I said, Rapaport is not on the level where you Kevin Durant should take as much offense to what he said. Like you should take more offense to what Stephen A says because he's more in the game. He's more in tune. Michael Rapaport is just a fan who's at sporting events and man works for the big three as a commentator.
The best sideline reporter in Big Three history.
Ain't he the only one?
He's about 2 seasons from losing his job to Brian Scalabrine.
Oh, man.
If Brian Scalabrine said, I don't feel like hooping no more, guess who's going to be the new sideline reporter? Him.
Yeah, I don't think Brian Scalabrine is going to be a sideline reporter because he's actually a commentator in NBA.
Very true, too. But I'm just saying, they needed a white guy. There he is. There's the easy replacement. Now, Michael Rapaport. As a man, that was the new softest thing I have ever seen. And the excuse that was used, he said my wife's name in it. If he said your wife's name and you were that mad, you're supposed to go see that man. Plain and simple. You don't go running to the internet. You don't go, hey guys, and that we're gonna get more in depth in this victimizing of white people. When stuff doesn't go their way, they then turn and try to make themselves the victim to say to other people in society, hey, look at this person being mean to me. I don't deserve this meanness. I'm the victim of this. Was Michael Rapaport really a victim in this situation?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I didn't see it that way at all.
So him running around and doing all the interviews and going on Undisputed, I don't give a damn what he says. That was weak. Unless he says, yo, I'm sorry for being weak. Nothing else matters. You know, and the language that KD was using, there had to be some level of comfort. Because I don't think anybody just wakes up one day and says, hey, you know what? I feel like calling this person a cum guzzler. Nobody does that. I just want to randomly call somebody a cocksucker that I don't know.
I would agree with that, but this is also a guy that's been on press conferences and has called media idiots.
No, but that's the thing. There's levels. Idiot. That. You don't get there unless there's some level of either comfort or animosity where you're like, I don't care what the consequences is. I want it. If you tell somebody I want to pull up and spit on you, we got to fight.
Immediately.
You want to spit on me? Okay. Send me to Addy. Prove it. And if I don't want that smoke, you leave it alone. He's like, all right, you know what? That man was wilding. I ain't gotta rock with you no more. You know, what's that beautiful button that people rarely use? Blocked. Block the man. You don't go run to the internet and send all the texts that he sent. And I'm not sure whether or not Rapaport deleted what all the responses are, but I'm pretty sure that had to be a response. There's no way in the world you're going to get all those messages and not a single response.
Yeah, he was saying something himself, for sure.
I definitely think that he deleted some of the messages. Looking at it, it didn't look like, looking at Kevin Durant's messages, it didn't look like that was just a consistent thread of him just saying stuff. It looked out of place.
Yeah, it looked like the way that thing was presented, it looked like as if Kevin Durant woke up at 10 a.m. on a Friday and said, you know what? 4:30, I will not be ignored. Blah. The next day, 5 a.m., your wife should be ashamed of you.
Those messages definitely doctored. So
none of it makes sense on that end. And both of them are clowns, and Rapaport is just a disgrace. And for all those people that want to act like, Rapaport's the black guy, he can come to the cookout. Screw you. You don't deserve to go to the cookout. Because that means you hang around clowns, and I don't rock with clowns.
You're not passing your hummus to Michael Rapaport?
No, he can't get a carrot at my cookout.
Wow, that's big.
And hummus is Thanksgiving situation, and not for barbecue. We talking about the cook.
You brought hummus to the Super Bowl party. What are you talking about?
That's not a cookout.
Okay, it's a gathering.
Rapper.
He ain't come to no gatherings, no hummus.
He's been blocked, banned.
Well, Rapaport has always been perceived as that, I guess, that cool guy who gets the pass. But I mean, when you look at it, he operates by a different rule. He's from a different culture. Now, if you say something about somebody, unfortunately, most black people are going to say, well, come see me. But most of the world is going to say, oh, I'm going to show you. I'm going to take the wiser approach and get you in trouble, buddy. And that's what, even though it's unfortunate, white people have done a long time, black people trying to be physical and fight. Now I'm gonna use my mind, or I'm gonna use the law, and I'm gonna get you in trouble. So you have to know when to be the bigger person, and know what you risk losing.
Right.
So you can't expect everybody to abide by the same code. If most people aren't confrontational, most people don't want to get into a fight, or they know, hey, a fight is an assault charge. I'm gonna hit you where it hurts, buddy.
Right.
And that's Kevin Durant's space where he was wrong, and a lot of people's situations where they're wrong. They think that people who run with the same code, or they're cut from the same cloth.
Right.
You have the same integrity that I have. Even when even if I'm wrong, there's only certain levels that I would expect to happen to me in that situation of wrongness. Like, there's no way in the world that I would expect, oh, we over here talking trash, and all of a sudden Lawrence is going to go and call the cops because he's mad that I'm talking trash.
It'd be super weak of me if I did that. And like I said, I just think I just have to harp on this. There has to be some kind of relationship. As sensitive as Kevin Durant is, I just don't see him going off on Michael Rapaport. Matter of fact, I think there is footage where they had done some things together on the internet, So I just don't think that Kevin Durant is the kind of guy that would jump in your DM and say, hey, guy, I don't know, you're this, that, and the third. I just don't see that. There's some kind of relationship in which, like I said, Durant felt comfortable talking to him that way. Now, did he cross the line? Probably. Should we know that he crossed the line? No, we shouldn't know that. That should have been kept between those two grown men.
Only way we should have found out is if it was on the news. Michael Rapaport snuffs Kevin Durant.
That'd be a bad look.
But that's the thing. They'd have been like, man, what happened? Oh, this is what happened. This is my defense.
That would have been common.
Oh, okay. You deserve that. KD,
right?
You deserve that one. Ain't no, oh, he just talked bad about my wife, and so I'm going to, or not even talk bad about my wife. He said my wife's name, and he, said he wants to spit on me, so therefore I got to put this out on the internet and tell.
Yeah. And it's funny because Maurice says, people do the wiser thing. I don't even think it was the wiser thing. I just think it was the whiter thing. It was,
Yep.
when it comes to this situation, it's literally just for a guy who loves to claim how much he knows about our culture, he did probably the most culturalist thing.
Well,
And
he showed you who he really is to the core.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't.
Facts.
I mean, he's a personality. He's an actor. He played a cool black dude.
Like don't forget. Yeah, like don't forget who Michael Rapaport actually is. He's white. So, like I'm not that. And just like Ian was talking about when it comes to don't invite these dudes to cookouts, I'm not inviting them to the culture in any type of way. And I think that's where Kevin Durant kind of made a mistake was you probably said in your brain, okay, you want to bring it there? Well, I'm gonna bring you here. And it's like, nah, don't bring him here because he's not gonna act the same exact way that you're going to react. He's not going to. He strategizes this. He knows exactly what he's doing to make it look like he's the victim. Like, yes, I said this, but he said this, and what he said was worse. Like, so when it comes to, like, as I said, bring people to the cookout, don't bring them to the culture. Don't bring them to your level. Just be on a higher. You got to be on a higher playing field than they are. And for what Kevin Durant's status is, I look at Kevin Durant as he is more famous than Michael Rapaport. So therefore, don't go down to his level, bring him up to yours where you say, hey, if you want to do an interview about this, we can do an interview about this. And I can tell you XYZ why the answers I gave to the inside crew was what I gave. That'll give you your clout, because that's clearly what you did it for. You wanted your clout, as well as the fact of I know that you're not going to talk that reckless to me if we did an interview together. So I think in that situation, like if you got the cards, use them. And unfortunately, Kevin Durant did not use those cards correctly.
Well, shoot. With all that being said, man, dang. Somebody who wasn't chasing clout, matter of fact, pretty much got fired on their day off.
Damn it! Before you get to that fun one, here's my question.
Okay.
Does Rapaport come back with the big three?
Yes. Yeah, they're gonna let him back.
Because that's what Ice Cube brought him for anyway, to be that agitating person. If you see him in the big three, he agitates these guys. He goes to Birdman and says, "Hey, you're 7 foot, but you have 0 rebounds. What's up with that?" Like, yeah, he's that guy.
But that may have been true before this.
I think he still comes back.
They go back to high learning, baby.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine and dandy, but that was before you had the label, at least worldwide, of being 1, a clown, and 2, a snitch.
Run told that.
I'll say this. The only way I don't see him coming back is basically due to the fact of Ice Cube kind of got a lot of flack from Black Twitter earlier this year.
Yeah.
Especially during the last year when it came to the Trump situation.
Yeah.
So if Ice Cube kind of, I guess, wants Black Twitter to be on his side, then maybe Mike doesn't come back. But I think Mike comes back.
And from a character standpoint, did Michael Rapaport really do anything wrong? Or is this just a pride thing with you guys? Because I'm like, did he really do anything? What did he do negatively? I mean, yeah, it's maybe his perception, but he didn't morally, he didn't do anything wrong.
Morally, he did nothing wrong. You're right. Morally, he didn't do anything wrong. But in that code, he did violate some laws. Like you don't.
But
It's an unwritten code. It's
But
unwritten
where is
code.
this unwritten code? Where is this
Oh, it's
code
amongst
guidance
us.
as a people?
Oh, well.
It's certain things we try to hold on to, but everybody's supposed to be trying to get better.
We also got to look at world's moral versus cultural moral. And the thing is that Mike gets away with the cultural moral because he's not part of our culture. He may know some things about our culture, but he is not part of our culture. So therefore, as you said, he didn't do anything wrong.
I think he kind of is, because culture, remember, culture isn't a color. Culture is a mindset and attitude.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody is looking at Michael Rapaport as he's part of our culture. It's a guy that wants to be part of this culture. I think he, like, even when he used to do interviews for MTV Raps back in the day. But at the same time, MTV Rap and MTV in general wasn't our culture. It was like a bridge to wanting to see our culture. So I look at Mike as the guy outside looking in the window, like for as many years as he's been in, and then goes back to his friends and says, "Oh my God, they do this." I never see Mike as part of us. Like, oh man, if we lost Michael Rapaport, are we gonna be like, man, he was one for us? Like, I ain't never seen that. He's just a guy that so happens to like hip hop and basketball. That's it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's always been just a character of the culture, and when that character gets out of line, the character either needs to be checked or removed. And I think the easiest fix is to remove. Just think of D'Angelo Russell and the Nick Young situation, which is a kind of a prime example of what we'll bridge to next. Technically, D'Angelo didn't do anything wrong, but he broke code.
When he broke a code that's not necessarily cultural. He just broke a code. That's what I'm getting at. That person can be any color.
But this situation could have been any color.
This situation right here.
This situation the biggest difference between this situation, between the Kevin Durant, Michael Rapaport situation, and Myers Leonard situation, was Myers Leonard was on a live Twitch stream, and he told on himself, whereas Michael Rapaport told on KD.
Mm-hmm.
That could have easily been Myers Leonard had some audio leaked of him saying something crazy and then getting in trouble for it, and everybody being like, Myers, you gotta be better than that. That's stupid. And him saying, I thought it was private. I thought that was between me and that person snitched on me. I had no idea. Nick Young, I thought the conversation between me and D'Angelo was just between me and us. I had no idea it was gonna get leaked to the internet.
As well as the fact of, like, when you're looking at these type of situations of moral or anything like that, basically what Michael Rapaport did, there's no kind of, and I don't want to go this deep, but it's going to go this deep. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to a private conversation when it came to Donald Sterling. She could have kept that to herself. She gave the side girl gave it to the world. And we applaud her for that. Call it out. So I mean, it definitely goes off of, I believe, a cultural moral and then a world moral. In this situation, it becomes a world moral if Michael Rapaport was like, he's using these homophobic slurs. This is da 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 da. If he did that, that's a world moral. But it had nothing to do with that. It had to go from a cultural moral, which is, we've had this conversation man to man, and then you want to put it out. The world moral when it comes to Donald Sterling is the fact that it dealt with racism, which is both cultural moral and world moral. But in this situation, world moral comes over cultural moral because of what the things Donald Sterling said. So I think that's where you got to have the divide and the difference of kind of what Donald Sterling's situation is, and then Michael Rapaport, Kevin Durant's situation.
I think they're different because one person was expressing who he really was. The other person was expressing who he was as well, but he was attacking the person directly. So I don't know if Michael Rapaport didn't have any counters, but I knew he obviously he showed, oh, you gonna say that to me? I'm gonna show you what I'm capable of, buddy.
Definitely did that.
You're gonna learn a hard lesson from this one.
And unfortunately, in the cultural world, when you say "I'll show you, buddy," nah.
I think Michael Rapaport just showed everybody we should just leave Michael Rapaport alone.
Yeah, and that is perfectly fine.
I'll leave him alone.
Let Michael talk to the wall by himself.
Yeah, let him talk to you. Know how he does his up top, like he's talking like that. Let him do that to him by himself.
Yeah,
let him play by himself.
Did he grow up in the hood?
No.
Oh, he didn't. Okay.
You upstate New York, I want to say.
He's an Italian. He's an Italian white New York man. That is.
Was he? He grew up poor?
No,
I don't think so. I forgot what his dad used to do. His dad was somebody. Let's say.
Basically, he's the '80s version of a poser.
But he's done a few documentaries about rap.
The Tribe Called Quest
and all that sort of stuff. So
that's cool. He partook in the culture. He's made his misstep. He's done his years of service. It's fun. Fun while it lasted.
Yeah, his dad was a whole radio executive.
Yeah.
Yeah. He Upper East Side Manhattan. So hell no,
rich.
He wasn't broke.
Rich.
And my bad, he's not Italian. He's Jewish. So
Jewish.
Yeah. Yep.
But he probably thought he was the man. And all this, of course, is because of Wikipedia. But he graduated from Martin Luther King High School, so that probably thought he gave you a card right there.
Oh, higher learning. You gotta love me,
Remy.
You could be part of the good movies and still, stay like what's old buddy's name? White Man Can't Jump.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. He stayed in his lane. Yeah, I did this movie with black folks. I ain't one of them. Stay in your lane.
I think Rapaport kind of got typecast because I can't name many other movies, but I know he did Zebrahead. That was one of the movies I seen him in before he did Higher Learning, and he was kind of the same. I don't know how much good acting he was doing, but the way he comes across was almost like he knew he related more with black people, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to relate, whoever you want to relate with them. I mean, I'm no racist. I mean, whoever you want to, and if you don't want to stand up, then for your skin color, whoever you are, then that's what you want to do. I mean, that's your mindset. But that's just how I'll view you. I mean, I might not think about you, but I'm probably not gonna hate you or lose sleep over you. I'm just gonna be like, well, he don't think the same way. Tiger Woods doesn't think the same way. Michael Jordan, when it comes to politics, he doesn't think the same way.
He did used to think the same way. He just was told not to think the same way.
Well, I think well, I just think Jordan was about his paper and about legacy.
100% what Michael Jordan's about. His brand before branding was a thing. So he or like I said, a name that we talked about a lot on this podcast is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. He doesn't think the same way,
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, I get it. You're just gonna have to be mindful. And to a person who's not all that mindful, Kevin Durant, that's going to be really tough. So, but
hey, we about to see what happens with Gary Owen. Let's see if his comedy changes. Since now he's about to be newly divorced.
Oh, for real?
So let's see how this changes, because I mean he typecasted Gary Owen did, and you see the jokes that he makes. Let's see if these jokes change now because of this divorce. And if people don't know, he infidelity. He had a black wife. Gary Owen, white man. So I mean, we're about to see. I felt like, the more you were with your wife, the more comfortable you got with, with your jokes and stuff like that. But let's see if it changes. I think that when you go into this, and the same thing with Michael Rapaport. I think he has a black wife. When you are into this type of situation, when you are I think interracial dating goes within it both ways as well. But at the same time, now you are now put in a situation where you probably got too comfortable with our culture or with our people, and now things backtracked a little bit. Let's see if the career, your words start getting a little bit different, your mannerisms start getting a little different. That's stuff that you gotta like kind of keep in your back pocket. So I think, when it comes to guys like Michael Rapaport or Gary Owen, I kind of want to see what moves they make after, situations like these.
Gary's comedy shouldn't change, but
it will.
What better material is there than divorce?
That was Chris Rock's last one, right?
Tambourine.
Yeah.
Great stand-up, by the way. Chris Rock is one of my favorites. All right, Lawrence, you want to get into what you were about to, man?
I was waiting for my chance to use my segues.
Oh, my
but I gotta come up with a whole nother segue now.
Oh, my bad. I was gonna say we talking about wilding. How about you getting into some more wild stuff that folks is doing on IG?
Yes, speaking of wilding, yes, sir. So somebody decided to get I like that, Ian. So somebody decided to get fired on their day off. And that be one Paul Pierce. And I swear Paul Pierce is the most hated basketball player in all of Atlanta. If you bring up Paul Pierce, people don't have nice things to say about him. But that being said, he decided to share with the world what was going on at his party, where he had some of that sticky icky, and he had girls shaking in a certain fashion that he felt comfortable with.
They were shaking ass. They were shaking ass. They were shaking ass. He had women in the back shaking ass. Yo, you and your coof behavior, shaking ass.
Anyhow, I guess he thought he was bulletproof, and ESPN let him know that he is not bulletproof. They had let him go because of his actions and behaviors. One, this is a dumb question, but I'm going to say it anyway. Do you believe ESPN was in the right to let him go?
When you're in the presence of power, you're never wrong for letting people go.
Right.
When you're not putting moral into it. Once again, this goes off of, moral, what's right, what's wrong, whatever. Paul Pierce is in a city where weed is legal. He was in a private setting. What he did was not wrong. Now, in this situation, though, Koof comes into play. This is also when it comes to professionalism. A politician, you can be the best politician. You can go to Denver. If you are in Denver and someone catches you smoking weed, it is going to be on the first newspaper that you see. That's just how it goes. So this just has to do with professionalism. In this situation, the truth did not set Paul Pierce. Well, no, actually, the truth did set Paul Pierce free from ESPN. So, like, you know, this is a type of situation where I think, you know, Paul Pierce, who has an ego, he has said a lot of stupid things when he comes to ESPN. This is the same guy that said he had a better career than Dwayne Wade. This is a guy who has said that LeBron James, when it comes to LeBron James, he is his greatest rival. This is a guy who has said a lot of just ridiculous things. And now those things have come into action when it comes to your IG Live. He thought he, as you said, was bulletproof. He has this ego, which he's thought, man, I cannot get in trouble. But as well as the fact of after the news went out that he was fired, he even put out a new video of him laughing, saying, hey, more things to come. So he clearly doesn't care. I mean, he's been in ESPN for 4 years. So his behavior is what I expect out of Paul Pierce. I don't expect anything less from Paul Pierce. I mean, I don't know him as a man. I just know him from what I see. So with that, this is exactly how I expect it. You saw the video, and immediately what comes into mind for guys like us or journalists in general is, oh, well, there's his job. That's how it happens. It happened. It happens with a lot of guys. You immediately hear them say something or do something, and you're immediately like, oh, there's his job. Professionalism. At the end of the day, it's always professionalism.
Well, that was well said. Like I said, I saw a video. Actually, I heard about Paul Pierce. Then I saw the video. Then I was like, thought to me, oh, I guess ESPN is done with him. ESPN, the worldwide leader, they really don't even let their anchors and stuff talk politics anymore. So how much are they going to tolerate that kind of behavior going on in the background? I just didn't think that he thought about his continuing his employment with ESPN with doing that. That was the I don't know. If he didn't care, okay, that's fine. But if he didn't mean to, that was really stupid. And I'm pretty sure ESPN has all kind of contracts in which they make you sign things and say that you will not do this, you will not do that, blah, 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 on and on and on. So what's next for Paul Pierce? I don't know. Maybe more Instagram videos.
Yeah, I'm like you guys. First thing I thought when I saw the videos was Paul's about to lose his job. And then when it happened, I immediately sat back and thought about it. With all the things that Dan Doctors has said over the course of his career at ESPN, he still has a job. And then I went back and said, you know what? I can't apply that same standard because, number one, Dan Doctors has said things, but nothing he said has been just all the way just straight heinous. Whereas Paul Pierce, unfortunately, posting an IG video of himself more or less embarrassed the company in the company's eyes. You know, and that's rule number 1, 2, and 3 when it comes to, corporations or any business. Don't embarrass the job. Don't embarrass me on company time. And don't embarrass me outside of work where I know it's you and it's you definitely did something. The man looked like he was drunk and discovered the IG live button on his phone. It was like on some, hey guys, look at this. And not a single person in that room said, Paul, put that phone down. Stop what you're doing. He doesn't have
girls want to go tell him.
He doesn't have real friends. Because real friends would have knocked the phone out of his hand while he was getting a massage.
Don't mess up. Hey, look, real friends probably would have said, "Don't mess up my money."
Don't mess up your money. Even if you are the money, don't mess it up. And that's pretty much what he did. So I mean, he says more things to come. maybe he's in talks of doing something with Showtime and joining the Up in Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson.
Oh, I would not watch more if he was part of it.
Maybe he'll be a regular correspondent.
You know what's funny is I thought between Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, and I don't think that they would do this, but I'm thinking that they would be more apt to do what Paul Pierce did than them. Even though, like I said, even though I don't think they would do it.
No, see, but the way Matt and Steven Jackson have carried themselves over the year, it goes back to that cloth discussion. You know, how you carry yourself. You know how you are as a person. Is one of those where you knew, like, okay, them ain't the ones that try off the court.
Right.
They ain't the ones that try on the court either. Whereas Paul Pierce is a person that, you know, he's always come across as I'm bigger than you. I'm better than you because I'm me. And that's so many times, and after so many times you're like, nah, I gotta let you know that that's not the case.
Like when it comes to Steven Jackson is affiliated. If you know what I mean when I say affiliated.
I got you. Yeah.
But you don't see that affiliation during press conferences. You don't see that affiliation on the court. You don't see that affiliation on camera. And that's the difference. It's about professional and having coup. Like, that's literally what it is. And Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson are guys that knew what reputation they had around the league.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with their podcast, they made sure that people saw them in a different light. Mm-hmm. They're like, yo, we're us. We're calling this Up in Smoke. You know what we did. But at the same time, there's more to me than just that behavior.
Right.
Paul Pierce is that type of guy that I think everybody considered, you know, this guy just wants to be tough. This guy wants to be cool. This guy always wants to talk about, like, what he did on IG is the same thing that I see, and this is the crazy part, young rappers do.
Yeah.
Young. I mean, like 21. This month almost 50. I don't want to see Paul Pierce doing anything that I would be embarrassed seeing my uncle do. Like, this is a situation where, look, what, Lawrence, you and Paul Pierce are about the same age.
Close, yeah.
Lawrence, I'll slap the phone off of you if I saw you doing it. Like, yo, you don't have the same bank account as Paul Pierce does.
No, I don't.
And I would still do.
Let me tell you something. You'll be the last person I worry about spying. It's the missus. She'll be the one.
But that's the thing. Like, say we're out and about, and all of a sudden you look up and you're like, hey guys, look at us, look at what we're doing. Number one, we gonna be like, wait a minute. If I'm on this footage, my wife is gonna see this. I don't want to. And if your wife sees this and sees you, she's gonna kill you. And then at your funeral, she's gonna ask me, why not stop you from being stupid?
In front of your wife.
In front of my wife. And I'm gonna have to have plausible deniability to say, I don't know what she's talking about. Your wife is a liar. And I don't want to call your wife a liar at your funeral.
At your funeral.
I like how we just throw me in the casket, but that's all good. It's all good.
No, she's gonna kill you.
Of course.
Yeah.
So nothing less to be expected. Of course. I would die.
Yo, the fact Ian will go to your funeral to save his ass, the man just going on the podium and saying, hey Siri, play Shaggy. Like, that's the situation that's happening.
Nope. What happened to the phone? No idea what happened to it. I've already.
So that's not you on camera.
Nope.
Never seen that man in my life.
No.
I heard somebody say Ian. Not my name.
No. That was a different Ian.
I think that man spelled E-A-N.
Not me. Listen, that looks like your shoe stomping on the camera. No idea. Definitely not me. but going back to what you said about, Steven Jackson being affiliated and whatnot. Steven Jackson is a dude, and Matt Barnes are the dudes that don't have to tell you that they about that. You just automatically know. All right, you about that. Paul Pierce is a dude that's gonna repeatedly tell you over and over, I'm about that, I'm about that. And at some point in time, is either you're lying or you're really stupid. And a lot of times this was a really stupid moment. So what? But now, was he trying to get fired from ESPN on purpose? Who knows? We'll find that out in the future, maybe. Because you may wake up tomorrow and he's got a new deal with Bally's, the formerly Fox Sports.
Yeah, I still got to get used to that.
That's what the B means in.
Yep.
When I see the
Bally's.
Bally's.
So not the Bally's that LA Fitness bought out. Not that. Is that the same company?
I think more the casino.
Oh, okay.
Which I feel like is also the same company too. But I mean, it could just be just the casino and just that company. But yeah, they bought Fox Sports from them. And now everything's Bally Sports.
Don't hit send. That's what we learned today. That should be the topic. Don't hit send.
Yeah.
To Kevin Durant and Paul Pierce. Don't hit send.
But here's a real question. What did you think of those ladies in the video?
Have we learned that I'm on video? I ain't saying nothing. Nothing.
Quick learner. Maurice, anything? Huh?
Don't fall for the banana on the tip. Don't fall for the banana. Don't slip on that banana.
Nothing.
Nice looking women who qualified for what you want to see when you go to those places.
What women? I didn't see nothing. I just saw Paul Pierce lose his job. That's it.
Yes.
What'd you think?
I live in Atlanta. What Paul Pierce showed me is nothing impressive.
Well, I will say it didn't look doctored up. You see a lot of stuff that's doctored up today. A lot of women, they look kind of natural from what I saw. So
I live in Atlanta.
I mean, the stuff now. Young guys now. I
live in Atlanta where you can go to a Walmart and see more than what Paul Pierce saw in that video, unfortunately. I can have my baby cousins around me and it won't mean a damn thing.
Now, I don't even know if the young guys today they even know what's real anymore, man. It's like everybody's had some work.
So shout out to my guy, Keith Bird. He said that Paul Pierce brought nothing to the table as an analyst.
I mean,
very true.
Yeah. Where's the lie?
Look, we got to come to the realization, like, they did many games just to see how many times Paul Pierce was going to be wrong during the season. Like, that when you have somebody part of your crew that's just wrong when it comes to certain things, like, yeah, that's how you're going to be presented as. It's the same when it comes to Charles Barkley and who he played for. Like, if you know what these guys' weaknesses are when it comes to their analyst skills, you're going to exploit that, especially when it comes to the whole jock aspect of life. Like, you're a jock. You're not expected to be smart. Paul Pierce was not brought to ESPN for his smarts. He was there to bring out that attitude of this is who I am. I speak this certain type of way, and I can probably get away with it. And that's what they did. They try to make Paul Pierce Charles Barkley. The difference between Charles Barkley and Paul Pierce is Charles Barkley is actually kind of smart.
And he's funny.
And he's fun. Nothing Paul Pierce has ever said has ever made me laugh. Now, Jalen Rose commenting on what Paul Pierce says, funny.
Yeah.
Nothing Paul Pierce has ever said has made me say, Paul Pierce has a point. Never. Not Nan.
Paul Pierce.
Once he said that he had a better career than Dwayne Wade, I was like, all right, cool. This is the part where I put everything on mute.
He actually explained that very thing on All the Smoke, because he was on the All Smoke, and he was pretty much like, what am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to say Dwayne Wade has a better career than me? I mean,
yes.
He seems like a very competitive guy.
Yes. No.
Like
that's the thing. Like, Charles Barkley is never going to say he had a better career than Shaq. Charles Barkley won't even say that he has a better career than Kenny. Like, it's okay to be honest. Like, for a dude named The Truth, the man caps a lot. And as I said, nothing that he said has ever impressed anybody. I don't think he doesn't have any quotables. Nobody is going to say that Paul Pierce was.
I disagree with that. I call game was a pretty good quote. That was a good one. Did you call glass? I call game. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Did he do that as an analyst?
No, he didn't do it as an analyst. He did it as a player.
Yeah. Kevin Garnett said anything is possible as a player. He was.
I think get rid of Area 21. I like Area 21.
I loved Area 21. Worked on Area 21.
Did Kevin Garnett just say he didn't want to do it anymore?
I'm not going to say why he's not doing it. Yeah, like that. Well, that'll be an off-camera conversation.
Okay, my bad.
I guess that's just KG's personality, but he just seemed a little overzealous, like he was over the top with it. It's just very exaggerated. I mean, it was kind of okay. I mean, yeah, Rashid up there that time, but I was surprised.
The guess we wanted to see.
Yeah, I was surprised it came and went so quickly, but I don't know if just my opinion. I don't know if Garnett he just comes across kind of like, I mean, maybe he might be another fake one. I mean, some people say that about him. All bark, no bite.
I've heard there are many Kevin Garnett stories. You saw the
there's bite in Kevin Garnett.
There is bite.
I will say that. Oh no,
yes,
no, he ain't just bark.
Nah, there are many different legends of Kevin Garnett and his I ain't gonna call them antics because that's not what it is, but he didn't put the paws on people out there. Let's just put it like that. He didn't put the paws on some folks.
Equal size individuals or non-intimidating individuals?
I think anybody. I think it's pretty much anybody. I mean, I know we think about Kevin Garnett and how Carmelo tried to stop the bus and all that kind of stuff. And I think because there were so many people around, that's what happened with that. But like I said, hearing the stories, especially when he was in Minnesota, that could have gone a different way. It really could have.
Can't brag about, I mean, for Paul Pierce, the man brags about getting stabbed.
Yeah, that's not cool. It's not.
Yeah,
for people that have wound afflictions to them, 9 times out of 10, you don't brag about those things. You don't.
That was him running his mouth in a pool hall or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Club in Boston.
Yeah. Didn't know
Has
who he
Derek
was.
Jackson not taught anybody yet? Sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up.
Stabby.
That's who stabbed him?
No.
Oh.
No. Derek Jackson is the simp guy that cheated on his wife.
Oh, yeah.
The thing going around with the husband and wife sitting there.
Yeah.
And what is cheating? Oh, I didn't watch it. I was like, I'm not.
As you should not.
He's another person that's a waste of time. Also, apparently played football at Tuskegee. It was trash.
He played one game at Tuskegee. He wore a jersey at Tuskegee.
Practice. He was there for practice.
I feel a segue coming. Okay, y'all ready? Speaking of a game that's not going to be played in Atlanta, the All Star game is not being played here. Come on, man. That was like
good, Lawrence.
Thank you. Give
me that one.
Thank you. Come on, man. But anyway, so the All Star game is not being played here in Atlanta due to the voter suppression laws that have been brought forth by the wonderful government of Georgia. First, do you guys think this is a good move for the MLB?
Great move. Loved it. Glad they had the balls to do it. They didn't wait on the players to try to vote on it because, again, the players are, majority white guys that probably share the same interests as the Republicans here in the state of Georgia, or they just don't care. So yeah, MLB saw where the money was being ruined because a lot of corporations were pulling out and were against the law, and MLB
As it should be.
Yeah, and MLB just said, "Nah, we can't co-sign ourselves to this, but we'll step away." And in true fashion of the Republican Party, or just the opposition of Black people being able to vote, they cried foul and said they were victims of, of cancel culture and wokeness. And how dare you take away our great baseball game? And in true Braves fashion, instead of writing a statement just saying, "Hey, we're sad the game isn't here, we'll move on," they in turn said, "Hey, white people, we're not with this. We're sad too. We're victims also." To which I then in turn and say, forget the Braves. I hope they lose all 162 games.
That is going to make poor Brandon Mincy so sad.
If he's upset with that, he can come see.
He gonna see.
He gonna DM you later. You better not put it up.
Am I feeling like Rapaport or am I feeling like Matt Barnes? How am I feeling? Pull up on his house?
Matt Barnes would go drive up to him.
That's what I'm saying. Am I going to drive up to him or I'm going to air him out? What am I gonna... Nah. But yeah, and then even Kelly Loeffler had the nerve to say Hank Aaron died and the leftists here in Georgia took away our gate game that would have had a chance to honor him, and to which Hank Aaron's daughter said, "Keep my dad's name out of your mouth."
For sure.
Yeah.
You don't know what that man went through. It's saying something like that.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's a whole bunch of people call themselves victims when they're not victims of anything. This law is trash. Anybody that tries to justify this law is trash also. And got keep the fight. Keep on fighting. Keep on voting.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't change.
Yes, sir.
Keion, what you get? Well, Maurice, what you got?
Really nothing much, just good move by Major League Baseball. I really don't watch much baseball now, mainly because I don't get paid to. Not a fan of watching baseball. But
that was the quotable right there.
There's the analyst quote right there.
I share that sentiment.
But I've criticized, I've written stuff about baseball being non-progressive and refusing to change certain parts of their games to make them more entertaining or to make it cooler. But this was one of the right things to do. Changing that voter suppression type stuff going on because of what Trump accused the state of, and it wasn't true. So good move by them. Yes, sorry it got moved. There'll be another All Star game, but you can't. They're not standing for it. And I stand with them on an issue like this. It's not fair. It's not right. we need to be more unified than separated. So yeah, big ups to the MLB and commissioner. Got his name. Manfred, yeah, Rob Manfred, for making that decision.
For me, great move by MLB. I'll definitely piggyback off that. My thing is the thing that disappointed me the most was the Brave statement, and at the same time, I'm not surprised because this is also the same team that, if you remember last year, when Milwaukee and Orlando did their boycott, and basically the whole sports world was boycotting sports for a couple of days. The Atlanta Braves was one of two teams that did not want to boycott, and they continued playing the game. From the Brave statement, you know that they are about them. That they are about the business side of things. At the same time, like if I was running that Braves organization, my first sentence would be, "Don't fumble the bag, B." And that's what Kemp did. For that, consequences had to be made. Consequences were made. And I definitely commend MLB for that. Like, the Braves never gave a damn about Black people in general. It's the reason why they took their team away from a Black neighborhood. I think Bomani Jones even commented on that and was like, "Look, this is a thing that the Braves are known for." They moved it to a city that won. Nobody asked that city if they wanted that team. Nobody asked if they wanted that stadium. Nobody asked if they wanted any of that. And as well as they took it away from the MARTA station, which of course is our transit station here in Atlanta. There's no. They basically taken away ways that Black people can enjoy the game of baseball unless they have the means or requirements to go watch a Braves game. This is also a team that's basically kind of taking Ted Turner's name away from the team completely. This is a team that wanted to start anew. And unfortunately, they wanted to start anew with not so many of us brown folks, which they accomplished. And now they have accomplished not having a MLB All Star game. So that's what you get. Life moves on. Honestly, we've already had an All Star game here, which is the NBA All Star game. I'm kind of good on All Star games in Atlanta for a minute anyway. So I don't want to look like who was it, the Rangers yesterday, who had a whole sold out event.
Yeah.
During a pandemic.
Yeah. Well, they lifted all the ban in Texas, so
yeah, I don't want that right now. So, hey, do what y'all got to do. At the same time, Braves, do better.
I'll do you one better. Piggybacking on the Rangers, they're in response to MLB moving the All Star game. Their governor decided he didn't want to do the opening pitch, as if that was going to be punishment for Major League Baseball not being down for the voter suppression law that passed in Georgia. And apparently Texas is getting ready to pass one of their own kind of similar to it. So, a lot of these states are, making moves to restrict the vote, even though they're trying to say it's to deal with the voter fraud that never really occurred. And really it's just about they lost and they want to change the rules that they made to make it harder for us. But it's never about inclusion.
It's about exclusion, 100%. Well said, all you two. Go ahead.
I'm about to say I was up that way before I came to the show with you guys. That battery looks nice. I'm gonna have to go out there. To be honest.
And see, that's the thing. The Battery is it's a nice place to go hang out and whatnot. But again, it was built under false pretenses. You know, the fact they literally crowbarred a stadium there, and then said, "Hey guys, we're moving here and we're taking all your parking." To which Cumberland Mall and a lot of businesses around it were like, "No, you're not. You got to rent this. You got to pay for this yourselves." And so when people say, "Oh, you know, they took away the game and it's going to hurt the businesses around the stadium and around the city," a lot of that money never reaches the people that necessarily need it.
Because
are you saying, "Oh man, you took away a job for a t-shirt vendor"? Yeah, they'll be all right. That's just one day. It's not like you made triple as a t-shirt vendor on All Star Day.
Facts.
Because that area around there, I know it's still rough. I don't travel that way as much. Down there by where Turner Field was, but I know they were building some. It was weird. On one side of the street, they were building up some nice homes, but you go a little deeper back down by Morehouse, it's a jungle. You go over there where Turner Field is, it's a jungle. So I guess that would have been a whole regentrification project. They must have not wanted to do. And
here's the funny thing: that whole Somerville neighborhood is actually gotten a lot nicer, and there are a lot of homes over there going for like 300,000-400,000. Whereas 10 years could have got them for.
That community is completely changing. Like Weston Mall is about to be demolished.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yep.
Oh. So yeah, like but at the same time, this is my thing. If you are put in a community that is poverty stricken or a community that is let's just say not gentrified, you as a basketball team, as well as your partnership with the city, you can make moves around that and not create gentrification. You can make a community better without immediately saying, well, if there was more white people in this area, then things wouldn't be what they are. Like, and I think the Braves just failed to do that. The Braves, if you remember Turner Field, it was literally just there. There was nothing really built around it. The only thing that was even partnered, I guess, with it was the Bullpen restaurant.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So 655 or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I think that's what it's called now. But they didn't build anything off of that. I mean, it was just a huge parking lot. There was there was abandoned buildings across the street from Turner Field. There was the only popular thing was the old church that was there that turned into a nightclub.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
I think it's called the Tabernacle. And but they didn't do anything to try to build anything. Like with those abandoned buildings, Braves could have bought those, created something. They could have done things to make that area a little bit better for their community. And what the Braves did was show that they're not about the community, so they got up out of there. And they went into a community that they were like, oh, we look like we can prosper here. And that kind of sucks when you're looking at $1 billion business. Instead of trying to build around you, you just go to the area that you think is cool. Now I'm looking at a place like Turner Field where the Olympics was, and you're saying it doesn't look that special anymore. You drive down Ted Turner Street, it's not glamorous. It doesn't look like anything was there. I understand Georgia State bought that building, but even with that, it's like
Panthers.
Doesn't look like it looks like, why does Georgia State have this? Nobody's going to Georgia State baseball games.
Go Panthers.
Let's see, and the funny thing is, like you said, the stadium used to be the Olympic Stadium. Why was that built there and placed there? Because that was looked at as the epicenter of what everything was going to go down. And at the time when that stadium was built, you weren't seeing other stadiums or arenas where you had all the nightlife there. I want to say Indianapolis was the first metropolitan city to build a stadium where you had your stadium, but then also you had your other restaurants and parks and other things that you could do around the stadium, where it wasn't just go to the game and then go home. You could hang out. Atlanta could have easily done that with Turner Field and potentially bought some of the area around it and done those things. Like I said, they chose not to. They chose to go for the demographic that they wanted to cater to and move up there to that East Cobb area where they feel the baseball is better, where baseball is more athletes are coming from East Cobb in their eyes. And that's where they wanted to go. And it's ironic when games used to be played at Turner Field. I remember having to get on the MARTA, or at the time wouldn't get on the MARTA, because I knew if a Braves game let off at the same time I was getting off of work, it was no way in the world that I was gonna ride. But hey, it is what it is. Braves, I would say, did not disappoint. Well, you can say they disappointed and did not disappoint, because they did what
Atlanta blown another huge lead.
Yep. Can't have nice things in Atlanta. They'll find a way to mess up.
$2 billion situation.
Even messing up the money, they still gonna fight you. Well, that being said, Keion, got anything you want to?
I did want to ask Maurice one thing, and I know we really didn't talk about NBA that much, and I just wanted to ask one thing. Well, two-part question, actually. When you're looking at a team like two teams, and it's going to lead to a bigger question, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors. On paper, who has the better team? Not looking at standings, you're looking at straight roster for roster, who has the better team? And may I mind you, Memphis has not had Triple J all season.
Right. I think they're almost equal, man. I guess with just the Curry impact, I would say, just from what he brings, modern basketball, they have the better team because of more so what he's accomplished, and he kind of has them alive.
Okay.
Surviving, I should say.
My second part question with that now is, now bringing standings into effect, the Memphis Grizzlies are 8th in the West. Golden State Warriors are 10th. They'll be in the in-play. For a guy like, of course, Memphis' best player is Ja Morant, and for Golden State, of course, it's Steph Curry, which Steph Curry is considered a top 5 player in the league. Do we give Steph Curry too much excuses for why that team is a 10th seed in the West? And should we be giving more criticism off of the fact of, maybe if you're considered a top 5 player in the league, you need to at least be, I'm going to say, top 6 in the West?
I think it's fair, but he is playing in a tougher conference. I mean, you put them in the East. Like it would just think like, I just knew with Westbrook and Beal teaming up, they should be way better than what they are. Curry keeping them afloat. It was looking bad at first, but they've been hovering around that 8th seed, 9th, depending on what day it is, 10th. I mean, he's shown you if I go out here and get a bunch of buckets, we can have a chance to win, but you kind of got me stumped on that one. What'd you think, Ian?
I too am stumped. I mean, roster wise, I think that not Golden State. I just think Memphis might have the better roster, even minus Triple J. The fact that you still got Dylan Brooks, got Kyle Anderson, the kid Bane. He's been pretty decent for them this year. Think is Valanciunas there?
Oh yeah, he starts.
Yeah, Valanciunas. You got him. And Ja. So you got a pretty good front. I mean, pretty good starting lineup. DeAnthony Melton coming off the bench is pretty good too. Whereas with Golden State, you got Steph, you got a young Wiseman who's slowly doing some things. Draymond is Draymond, hot and cold. And then after that, it becomes a question. We stopped talking about Wiggins and Kelly Oubre, which could be both a good and a bad thing, depending on what night they're having. So it's tough. I will say for Golden State, with their record being the way it is, they did go down a bad stretch with this current losing streak, especially with Curry going down with that butt injury. Yeah, I called it a butt injury.
A butt injury, had to call it that.
He hurt his tailbone. Butt injury. It'd be
Who slaughtered them that night? They were down 60?
60.
Toronto.
And Toronto's not good.
Toronto's been was on a losing streak recently.
Yeah. Hey, somebody's got to be a streak buster. They just haven't been Golden State's on a really bad night. Really, really bad night.
Major cringe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
Yeah. Keion, that answer your question?
Yeah, the whole top 5 player thing is always so interesting to me. It's it just comes to a situation of like when we talk about Russell Westbrook, it's like you're in the East. We said West is a harder standing. Now he's in the East. Wizards are a 12th seed. And people will always give the excuse, well, they got a bad team other than Westbrook and Beal. And I'm just like, cool. But I felt that if you a top 5, top 10 player, like you could bring it. This is a guy who won MVP, 4 years ago? And this man can't get the Wizards to a playoff spot? I'm kind of looking at the same thing when it comes to like Steph Curry at this point. It's like, I understand he went through injuries, so I'm not going to fault him for those. But for guys that are considered top 5 players, I don't think you're giving that same excuse to LeBron James. I don't think you'll give the same excuse to Kevin Durant. I don't think you're giving, shoot, we've seen the bashing of James Harden and Giannis for not making it to that finals level. But at least they still are like top 3 seeds in their conferences. I don't know. I think we give these guys, quote unquote superstars, just too much flack nowadays. Like,
yeah, I
don't know. If Steph Curry is a top 5 guy, I expect the Warriors to be a top 5 team in their conference.
Yeah, because I would say I was gonna hit you with the small player thing, but Dame Lillard, they had injuries, but they haven't slipped too far.
Dame is Dame.
Yeah, he's still
Dame is Dame.
I guess is I don't know, but Golden State does play differently. But we've seen when Curry just goes all in, they whip some people. But
yeah,
but I guess to give them a little credit, they are around the play-in area where the Wizards aren't, and they have maybe 2 of the best 30 players in the league. I don't know how low you rank Westbrook and Beal, but they got to be in there somewhere.
Was an all-star starter.
Yeah, so I mean, I know the team is bad. They've had a few injuries, but and how they lost to Gary Trent, that was just the dude. Neto just went flopping.
Man, mind you, Gary Trent just got on the Raptors too. They trusted Gary Trent with that ball, and he a newcomer.
Hey, you can't blame Westbrook or Beal for that.
Well, Beal was hurt.
Anybody tell them to go floppy like that?
Well, Westbrook was in the paint just looking.
I mean, I don't remember whether it was a made bucket or if it wasn't fresh out of a timeout.
It literally was off the inbound pass.
Yes, it was because it was after a free throw, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so yeah, if you under the bucket and you first person back, get the deepest person. Hey, again, ain't nobody tell Neto to go flopping like that.
Just saying, there come situations where I just believe that if and maybe I think we should change the standing of what a superstar is. I think we should change the standing of what a superstar's responsibilities are. But I'm not going to be out here talking about these guys are top 5 and you can't get your team to be a top 5 in their conference.
Yeah.
And I think maybe you got to look at Westbrook and you got to look at Curry and you got to say, are they in the right standings of active greats in our league? And then I'm saying they're not greats, but of if they're top 5, top 10.
Right.
A little one.
My baby walking. Scary.
Yeah. I mean,
he's walking. Scary.
Maybe it's just because Curry's an analytic. The analytic guys love him. I guess they love Paul George. We've seen who he's proven to be. Historically, they say, oh, Kobe took the worst shots, but Kobe won 5 championships, Kobe 2 without Shaq.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, till this day, Russell Westbrook, other than with James Harden as leader, has never gotten out the first round after KD left. And now he might not even make the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs.
See? Yeah, and I try to bring that positivity, but they're not making the playoffs.
They're not going to make it. I don't think New Orleans is going to make it either. Zion got a nice handle. They've kind of switched that up, but they win, they lose, they win, they lose, they lose, win.
It sounds like the Animaniacs. It sounds like the Animaniacs theme song.
Oh.
They fight. When you lose.
Just saying, there's it's bad. It's bad.
Hey, Mo, what's your final thought? Because this lady is about to explode.
I feel you. Just thanks again for having me on once again. Really good stuff, guys. Thanks to Lawrence, who's already left us. Thank you, Keion, for bringing good points. Thank you, Ian, for bringing good points as well. And just shout out to the University of North Carolina, my basketball team, my squad since the late 80s. Got a little more diverse. It finally came to fruition. I heard that Dean Smith wanted Phil Ford to become the first black head coach, but I guess certain things happened. It didn't work out that way. But now we have Hubert Davis. They're giving him a run. Hopefully it goes well. He was a main recruiter, as you pointed out, Ian. And so hopefully keeps that going and keeps his train going in the right direction. It's going to be interesting and different. Hope he changes up the philosophy a little bit. Hopefully we may become more of a defensive team in a sense, but we'll see what kind of philosophy he brings to the table. But I wish him the best, and we hope to see good things from the Carolina basketball team.
I hope those same things too. And as I'm being video bombed by my other one. Too much like me. Jesus. My final thoughts are, like I said, congratulations to Hubert Davis getting the job at Carolina. Like I said, big things. Expect the recruits to come pouring in, hopefully. Also, congratulations to Baylor for beating up on Gonzaga last night. I know I missed that part of the show, but defense wins championships. That line always works, no matter the sport. And also, vote. They're still trying to take away that right from us. And yeah, I guess that's really all I got. I would say go Dallas, but yeah, I'll be all right. I'm still gonna get paid regardless.
Yeah, y'all might not make the playoffs.
Nah, they're gonna make playoffs. I'm trying to think what other great sporting event is coming up. Oh yeah, the Masters. That's still Georgia. Okay. Enjoy this nice weather. Hug your loved ones. And we're going to catch you next week on Two Piece and a Biscuit. Also, check out Maurice on the All Basketball Podcast. Pretty sure he's going to be doing an episode real soon. Be sure to check that out on all platforms where it's available. And check us out, too. We're on YouTube, Facebook Live, also Spotify and the Anchor app. We'll see you next week, folks. Peace.
Peace.